github.com. On github.com, we will create a repository. Then, after creating the repository, we'll push our codes there. So let's assume that I have a folder here. Let me come here. I've got a folder. New folder. Let's call it Voting. Yeah, this. So this was I gave you an assignment in last class that we should do a voting system. So let's use that to practice Git. I want to open it with Git Bash. So I'll come here and say right click Git Bash here. Now once I start a new project, what's the first command I'm to write? If I want to initialize Git, what's the first command? What's the command to initialize Git?
Git init.
Git init, thank you. So I've initialized Git. Now I can now start putting my codes there. So what I've done is to initialize Git locally inside this folder called voting. This same step, we're going to see how we can do it online. So go to your GitHub account, go to github.com, create a new repository. You will see new, click on new repository. So I can call it voting also, but it's not a must to call it voting. But oftentimes we actually name it the same thing as our local repository. Right. What we did here by creating a folder on our device is the same thing we're about to do. Whatever I put here is like you are creating a folder on github.com called voting. Do you get it? Hope you understand. It's like you are creating a folder online now on github.com, and the name of the folder will be whatever name you put here. And the folder that you're going to create will automatically have Git in it. It will have Git in it. So voting, voting is available. I can use this name. You can make it a public repo or a private repo. Public repo is available to everybody. Like everybody can see the codes there. Whatever you put there, everybody can. So private repo, it's only for you, just for you. So we click on create repository. So the repository has been created. Next is this. We want to push the code, whatever codes we have locally, we want to push it to our remote repository, that is the one online. We have a folder offline, then we want to push it to the one online. But the one offline does not have any codes in it, so let's write some basic codes. Let's just write some codes there, and I'll close this now. This is the voting folder. I will open it. Let's open it with VS Code. Right click, open with code. So this is one offline. I've got a file inside it. I can call it index.py. And the first is let's create a function called vote. For now, I just point welcome to our course. So let's call on this function. Let's say voting app. Function voting app, welcome to our course. So I'll call on the function here, voting app. So I want to push these codes that is locally available on my device to the one online. And of course, you means it's untagged. Next is I want to commit it. In order to commit it, you first add, then you commit. So you do git add, followed by the name of the file you want to add, which is index.py. index.py. Then git commit -m, you use git commit to commit it. Then followed by your commit message. Index.py file created. So now this is still locally on my device. Next step is, how then do I push it online remotely? In order to push it to this one here, I need to know the URL. I need to get the URL that would link to this repository, the one online, so that I can now instruct Git to push from my local one to a particular URL. And here is the URL here. When you scroll down, you'll see it here. It is a http://github.com/ this is my username / the name of the repository .git. This is the URL I want to push to. So I can say push to this URL. I can say git push, then the URL. I'll copy this URL, paste. Then now remember I said this is also a repository. The one online here, it's a repository. Now the one online has its main branch as main. What I mean is this: for locally, for the one available on my local device, immediately I run git init, instantly it will create this main for us, right? Please, are you with me?
Yeah, we're with you.
Alright, so instantly it will create this main for us. So also, immediately you create a repository online, it will also create a main branch for you. So we are saying that push from the one we're currently on the main local, push it to the main in this particular URL. So what it will do is that it will copy all the codes in this main and paste it to the main here. Any questions so far? I come again. Git push this URL. This is the URL you are pushing to. Oops. Copy the URL. Then main, because the git on that one also has main. So it's to push everything inside this main, the local main, to the remote main. But there's a problem with this approach. Problem is this: you will keep adding more codes to your application or to your device, like to your system. There will always be need to add more codes, and that means you will always need this URL, because of course you need the URL so that you can push it to that particular one. So instead of that, we can now give it an alias. Typing this is long, then you may not remember. So we cannot give it an alias, so that instead of using the URL every time, I can call it maybe my name. I can say Taye, so that whenever I call on Taye, I'm actually referring to that URL. I can call it James. Whenever I call on James, I'm actually referring to that URL. I can also call it URL, so that whenever I use the word URL, I'm referring to that particular URL. So in order to add an alias for a URL, what you're going to do is you're going to make use of a command called git remote. Git remote. You're welcome. Git remote.
Thank you.
Yes. Now git remote add, then followed by the alias you want to give to it. See, you see the git, whenever you use the word git remote, it's referring to the one online. Git remote refers to the one online. So when you say git remote, then it's not that you are referring to the one online. Add, you want to add an alias. Then the alias you want to give to it, I can call it any name of my choice. I can call it Academy. Oops. I can call it any alias of my choice. I can call it Taye. Now, followed by the URL. There is the URL I want to add. So once I press enter, oh, I think I pressed it twice. So once I press enter, what I'm saying is that whenever I call on Taye, I'm actually referring to this URL. But the convention, the norm in the community is not to use Taye, is to use what we call origin. Not that if you use any other thing, it's not going to work, it will work. But that's just the norm in the community. Git remote add origin, then followed by the URL you want to add. So you press enter, it has been added. How do you know if it has been added? Just use this command git remote. When you run git remote, it will show you all the remote URL. So now I have this origin, I've added origin now. Now, if you want to see the URL associated to origin, you can use this command git remote -v. V here stands for verbose. Verbose, that you want more information. So it will give you this. Origin points to this URL. So whenever I call on origin, I'm actually referring to this URL. Next is let's push to origin now. Git push origin. Of course, that refers to this URL now. Then main, that is push whatever code that is on this branch, on our main branch, to the main branch that is on origin, which is this URL. Now, if you run this command the first time on your device, it will tell you to log in. Because, of course, you can't push to another person's account. If you don't have access to that person's account, you should not be able to push to another person's account. So it will tell you to log in. If you're able to log in successfully, then the codes will be successful. Maybe by next stage, we will see how you can also use SSH instead of logging in. There's another way you can use SSH also to push. So git push origin main. Git push origin main. So if you push the codes now, it has been pushed. If I come online and I refresh, you will see the codes here. So can you see the index.py? If I check it, I will see my codes there. These are the codes. So let's have a quick recap. Let's say I have some codes locally on my device. I want to push it online. I need to first commit the codes. Let's add, these are voting app. Welcome to our post. Next is you want to, okay, in our app, we want to enter the name of the contestants, right? Let's say first contestant. I'm looking at the best way to handle it. Okay, let's get a function to handle contestant. Def handle contestant. So first contestant input, enter the first contestant name. Then let's get another for the second contestant. Second contestant input name. So we can just do something like this. Print f first contestant added successfully. Then here also we do the same thing. Print. So you'll be able to know second contestant added successfully. Okay, so now we've been able to add the two contestants. So we're going to call on the function here, handle contestants. So immediately we run this app, let's put a little space there for readability. Immediately we run this, it will say welcome to our post. It will run this codes. It will get the two contestants. Let's save it and push it online. I come again. Let's clear this one. Firstly, you need to first commit. Git add the name of the file index.py. Git commit -m followed by your commit message. Undo contestant. Is there any questions so far? I've committed it locally on my device. Next is I want to push it. In order to push it, if it's a new project, you need to first come here and create a repository. But this is not a new project now, we've already pushed one already. But if it's a new project, you log into your GitHub account. You give it a name. I call it new voting. I will delete the second one. I'll delete it. New voting. You create a repository. So you've created a folder online called new voting. Next is you want to push to this URL. So in order to push to this URL, it's good you first add it as an alias so that you can always use the alias to push it. So you come back here and say git remote add the alias origin. Now if I try to use origin again, this will throw an error because I already have one origin. Let's try that here. You can see it's throwing an error. Origin already exists. That is, this alias already exists. Now if you want to use another one, you can give it another name. Then you can now push. Let's assume we use origin. You can now say git push origin main. Immediately you did that, the code will be pushed online. Now, but this is what I will do. I'm not pushing it to that URL. I'll come here and delete this repository. Let's see how you can delete a repository. If you want to delete the repository, you come to settings. There's a settings here. There's another one here. This one. The settings here at the right hand side here is for your whole account. Why the settings here is just for this repository. So if it has to do just with that repository, you use the one here, this one, and that's what we're going to use. I want to delete this particular repository, so I'll make use of these settings. Then you scroll down to the bottom, danger zone. Delete this repository. Yes, I'll delete it. I want to delete this repository. Yes, this is my yes. I accept. So telling me to type this, copy, paste. Then it tell me to log in. Yeah. It wants to ensure that good. Successfully deleted. So I've deleted that repository. This is one we are using, new voting. So if I've added codes locally on my device, I want to push now. It's very easy. After I've committed, just use git push origin main. Git push origin main. So add commit push. Git add the name of the file. Git commit, you commit it. Git push. So you've pushed it successfully. When you refresh this one again, you will see the new commits. Now there are 2 commits now. Let's add more codes. Good. So being able to add our contestants. Next is I want people should be able to vote, right? So next is what do you want to vote for? Okay. Let's say we have a function to vote. Def vote contestant like this. So the question is print which contestant are you voting for? So we can say voter's choice. Let's say voter choice equals to inputs. So if you're voting for the first contestant, you want to display, like, you type 1. If you're voting for the second contestant, you type 2. But there's a little problem. The problem is this. I could have used 1 and 2. That is 1 for the first contestant, something like this. 1 first contestant, 2 second contestant. But the problem with this approach is that it's not good for user experience. User should be able to see the name of the contestant they want to vote for, not just this text, first contestant and second contestant. Is there any questions so far? Hope you are getting notes. Okay, alright. So user should be able to see the name of the contestant he or she wants to vote for, not just first contestant and second contestant. But there's a problem. The problem is that this first contestant is a local variable to this function. If I try to use first contestant here, it will not work. Same also with this second contestant. So how should we do it? We need to make these ones to be global variables. If they are global variables, you can use them inside multiple functions. So that we'll be able to make use of this here. So that's what we're going to do. We'll change this to a global variable. So let's do that together. We'll come here and create a variable called first contestant. But in Python, every variable must have a value. But at this point, we are yet to know what will be inside first contestant. So we can set it to none. That is, for now, we are not putting anything inside it. Second contestant. Again, nothing inside it for now. So when you call on this function now, you want to set the value here. But we want Python to know that this first contestant is the same as this one. So we'll come here and say global first contestant, second contestant. So we are saying that this first contestant is the same as this one global. So change the content to whatever the user type here. Also, second contestant, change the content to whatever the user type here. So now it is now easy for us to come here. Instead of saying first contestant, we can now use this first. We come here, global first contestant, second contestant. So we say first contestant. Oh, sorry. Good. Second contestant. So it's going to put the name of the first contestant and the name of the second contestant here. Let's run it and see if everything is working fine. So we come here and call on this function vote contestants. Vote contestants. So let's run the codes. I'll open the new terminal. So let's run Python index.py. Enter the name of the first contestant. Let's say it's between Taye and Kehinde. Enter the name of the second contestant. Which contestants are you voting for? 1 for Taye, 2 for Kehinde. So this is where we stopped. If I pick 1, that means I'm voting for Taye. If I pick 2, that means I'm voting for Kehinde. That is where we stopped. Let's continue. Now, if I entered 1, let's say if user choice voter choice, sorry, if voter choice if is equal to 1, then I want to add 1 to the first contestant's vote. Meanwhile, if it is equal to 2, I want to add 1 to the second contestant's vote. It's equal to 1. So let's get a variable also to handle the first contestant's vote. We'll come here and say first contestant votes. Initially, everybody will have 0. Second contestant also will have 0. Second contestant vote equals to 0. So if this is equals to 1, we can now say first contestant votes equals to first contestant vote plus 1. So if it's 1, it becomes 2. If it's 0, it becomes 1. Do we understand it? Please, are we getting it?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
How do we, because I know you have created a lot of functions for this.
Yes.
How do we know where to create a particular function?
This is why you are doing it. Just look at, oh, these ones are going to work together. It depends. Another person might do this thing and we create the function separately. Like, it's not going to create it exactly like this. It is just, this is just think about it. Yeah, you want to get the contestant's name, right? You want to get the name of your contestant. Okay, you can create a function to handle the name of the contestants. Then anything related to vote, I want them to be together. So that's why I created this function to handle anything related to vote. If you create yours might be, in fact, you might put all of this together inside one function. It's fine. It's fine. You can even put all of them together inside this single function. It's still fine. Do you get it? Like different approaches. Why? Like the more you code, the more you now start to go. Let me separate it so that it will be easy to manipulate. And the more you code, the more you get better at it. But we could have put everything together inside this play, just that it will be rough. It will make your code rough. When you put everything together, it will be rough. Functions are used to group related codes together. Oh, these codes are related. Let's group them together. That is what a function is meant for. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Alright. So these are our entry points. This voting app, that's what we are calling here. And it's one that's now calling others. Calling this. When this is done, then call this. So if this is 1, if the user selected 1, run these codes for us. Add 1 to it. But you can shorten these codes by saying plus equals 1 is the same thing. This is the same as saying first contestant votes equals to first contestant vote plus 1. If I want to add 2, this is first contestant vote equals to first contestant vote plus 2. You can also write it like this. But I think this first approach is clearer. Now, if this user selected 2, elif voter choice if is equal to 2, then second contestant vote equals to second contestant vote plus 1. So if the person is selected 2, that means you are voting for the second person. Else point invalid choice. Invalid choice. If it's not 1 or 2, invalid choice. Okay. Yeah, we could have used if else alone, but the problem is if we do it like this, now we could have, for our previous task, we used to do something like this instead. Then there will be no this. If the user selected 1, vote for this. The user selected any other thing aside 1, vote for this. So this will undo 2. But the thing is that we are not fair to the first contestant, because if the user should select 3 or 4, we are still adding it to the second contestant's votes. Do we understand? So that's why we change it to this. If you want to vote for the first contestant, you must specifically type 1. If you want to vote for the second contestant, you must specifically type 2. So this is fair to everybody now. So if you type anything aside 1 or 2, points invalid vote. Invalid valid vote. Okay. When you are done, you might say that, oh, maybe do you want to vote again? If the person decides to vote again, then you call on this function again. Okay. Function vote again equals to input. Let's put a little space here. Input. Do you want to vote again? Or let's first print it. Print. Do you want to vote again? So if the user selected one for yes, 2 for no. So if vote again is 1, then call on this function again, vote contestants. Else, in fact, we may not even put else. We may not even put else. If the user selected 1, okay, depending on how we want it to work anyway. Else, you can say, okay, thanks for voting, bye. You can do something like that. Else, let's put else. Thanks for voting, point. Thanks for apps. Okay, yes, okay. Voting. So if vote again is 1, we'll call on this function again. So as long as the person keeps selecting 1, we'll keep voting and voting and voting. So we'll keep calling on this function. When we are done, we now want to say, oh, let's select winner. We can also create another function to select winner. Let's do that. Or announce winner. Let's see, def announce winner. So in order to announce winner, we need to know the number of votes of each contestant. For that reason, these variables, they cannot be local variables because we need them here. We need to make use of them here inside this announce winner function, so that we can say so person has so number of votes. So we need to make use of these values here. So for that reason, we make these ones to be global variable. Let's do that. So I'll just copy these two functions. Pass them out of this place. Make them to be global variables. So they are now global variables. Then, okay, this line. Let's make adjustments to this line. For that part, you set them here. First contestant votes, second contestant votes. That's all. You need to first declare it as global so that you can say that whenever I call on first contestant here, I'm referring to the global one. And whenever I call on second contestant here, I'm referring to the global one. I think we are done with that. Again, when you need a variable inside multiple functions, you make it a global variable. Let's move on. So let's come to this announce winner function. I want to get the number of votes of each contestant. So I can say if first contestant votes, if it is greater than the second contestant vote. Again, before I can, okay, if first contestant vote is greater than second contestant vote, that means first contestant is the winner. Point. First contestant won the election with first contestant vote. Okay, let's say first contestant won. Let's put the name of the second contestant here. Something like maybe Kenny won Taye with so number of votes to so number of votes. Right. So second contestant. The first contestant vote won the second contestant with so to this. To second contestant votes. Then we continue. I just copy this line because we need something similar to this elsewhere. L if second contestant is the winner, that means if this is greater than this, so if second contestant votes, if it is greater than the first contestant votes, then we do the opposite of the first one. Paste. This will now be second. This will be first. This will be second. This will be first. So if second contestant is the winner, it's going to display this message. Now else means maybe the two of there was a tie. You can even say L if both of them are equal. First contestant vote is equal to second contestant vote. You can write it like this, it's also fine. Just to be sure. If they are the same, point both first contestant and second contestant are both of them, they have let's say, since we can just use the value of one of them since they are the same. You can just put one of them, first contestant votes, like this. So both of them, they have the same number of votes. S, no winner, S, no winner. So we have this now. So let's see where to call on this announce winner. We can call on it, let's go back here. We can call on it here, which should be the best place to call on it. When you are done with this, and you are done with this, then announce the winner. Announce winner. So when it's done with this, you register contestants, you voted contestants, then you will announce the winner. This is the best place. But you can also call on it here. Let's copy, comment it. You can also call on it here. When you are done with this vote contestant, you are done with everything here. You can now say call on this. It will also work. Right? But I prefer to call it here. When you are done, this, good. I think our voting app is set now. Let's run it. Let's see if it's working fine. Okay. Let's go. What should be the first contestant name? Let's see. It's between Peter and Paul. Which contestant are you voting for? Let's say I voted for Peter. Do you want to vote again? Yes. This time around I want to vote for Paul. Do you want to vote again? Yes. So let's say I'm voting for Peter again. Now do you want to vote again? No. Now I've gone to the end of the poll. Thanks for voting. Peter won with 2-1. Peter won Paul with 2-1. Let's say there's a draw. Let's say Tolu and Ajayi. So am I voting for? What am I voting for? One for Tolu. Do you want to vote again? Yes. I'm voting for Tolu again. Now let's say Ajayi should win this. So now Ajayi has 3 votes, Tolu has 2 votes. Do you want to vote again too? No. Ajayi won Tolu with 2-2. Good. Let's look at draw. Do you want to? Yes, let's say yes. Then that's 1-1. Yes. So that's two. Do you want to get it? No. Both Akpayami and Money have to. Hence, no winner. So here is it. Let's push it online. In order to push it, you just say git add the name of the file, git commit -m your commit message. According to my I added this undo contestant. In fact, let's just say voting app completed. Let's push git push origin main, git push the alias main, it will push it. Good. So we've come to the end of today's class. Any questions so far? Okay, so the assignments will be sent to the group. Now let me add this. Please, this is the first assignment. The first assignment is to push all your work to your GitHub account. All your work should be pushed to your GitHub account. So when you push it, please send the link to your GitHub account to me. Just send github.com/your username. github.com/your username. So I'll see all the projects there. We push. That's the first assignment. The second assignment now will be sent to the group. That will be a task now to work on. This will get it. Each project will be a separate repository. This is a voting app now. It's one repository. The last assignment before that, I think was calculator. It will be another repository. So each assignment will be a repository in your account. Let me show you something here. I think where is somewhere. I'm coming. I can't remember where it is. Give me a minute. github.com/my username. Now these are the public repo in my account. Look at this thing here. This tells you your activity. The more active you are, the more you see this. You can see these parts. I didn't make any commits around this period last year. And this period, few commits here and there. This January, these are the commits I've made. I made some commits early last year also, and so now they can use this to track the activities on your account. To track your activities, how often do you code, or how often? Well, that's why it's good to commit as much as possible, right? When you add, you push, like you commit, you push, add, commit, push, add, commit, push. So check. Well, employers can go to your account and they can check this part out to see how active you've been over the years. Any question?
Yes, a question.
Okay.
My question is, must you push any code, whether it's correct or not? Because you may do something and you've not gotten it right. Will you still push it?
Yes, you push. Reason is this: you don't even need to complete it before you push. Oftentimes, maybe when you're going to bed at night, you push. You commit and push. Don't perfect it before pushing. There is another thing. Did I mention Git branching in the last class? Git branching. How to create a branch. Git branch. And up. So maybe we're going to check it out in the next class before we go to next thing. We look at Git branching. Git branching is primarily for codes that you are yet to test. I mean codes that are not yet working to your taste. Do you get it? Maybe you are still working on it and it's not yet perfect. You use Git branching to manage such, and you commit and push all of those branches. As you write them, you commit, you push. You write, you commit, you push. So please keep before going to bed at night, please ensure you commit and you push. Anything can happen overnight. uh, like your system may crash. You might shut down today and try to put it on the following day, and it will stop. Your system will not respond. So, in order to save yourself the pain of losing codes, it can be so painful. It can be so painful. I remember something happened to one of my students, it was around 2020 or so. I gave him an assignment, and he did that assignment for about maybe 6 months plus, or even close to 8 months. He spent a whole year, about 1 year, working on that assignment, and he didn't push it. I kept saying, push code. He was like, he would. So we went for holiday, December break. We resumed back in, I think, early 2021 now. Yeah, early 2021. Then he came back to tell me his system crashed. And the next thing I was like, okay, since your system crashed, go to your GitHub account and pull up the code. He said he didn't push it. So you worked for about 6 months plus or 7 months, and you didn't even push this code. So next thing I was like, okay, you need to start the project. After he said he couldn't, he wasn't going to start it. I was like, wow. Now I understand it can be so painful. It can be when you lose your. Don't learn from your own experience. Really, that can be so painful. I have series of stories around this as regards students that have been affected by it, but that one is still like, imagine working for 6-7 months on a project and you didn't push it out. It was a physical training, so I would just check the system. Oh, this is where you stopped. Oh, okay, continue, add more, add this feature to it, add this feature to it, add this feature to it. So you kept doing that and but you didn't push it online. So since then, in fact, I always ensure I monitor students. Push it, let me see it myself. Send the link to me, I want to view it. Please push your codes. Anything can happen overnight. Not even overnight, anything. As before going to bed, once you are done working for the day, push and go to bed or do something else. Any other question?
Pushing is to modify the code. By the time you have perfected it, then you can modify it to what you want, right?
Ma?
So what I'm saying is, because the question I wanted to ask was what was asked. So I'm saying after we have perfected the code, so what we do now is to once you have perfected it, then you now put it to a repository that you can allow people to see it when it's been perfected.
No, you see that same repository. This is it. If you go to this, let's go to this. I'm coming. Look at this one. This is a public repo. Look at this, the last commit I made. People can still access it while it is still in progress. It's not a must that it is perfect before they access it. But people, when they get to your account, they will just see the last commit, the most recent one. If they are interested in your previous commit, yes, they can. This is where you can see your commit history, all the commits you've made. First commit, second commit, this is the last commit. If I want to see the changes in the first commit, I can click on this, I will see it. Changes in the second commit, I can see it. Changes in the third commit. But when they get to your account, it will first show the last commit you made. And that's what people will see. You write it, you push. You write, push, write, push. So keep pushing it into that same repository. Keep pushing it. Whenever they get there, they still work in progress. Nobody expects. You don't expect that you get to a developer's account and you expect all these other projects to have been perfected. All projects they are always work in progress, at least at some point. So even if you are still working on it, still push it. If you don't want it to be on the main branch, this is one branch. In the next slide, we are going to talk more on Git branching, and that will solve the question you raised. If you are not yet done with it, you create a branch for it. Do whatever you like on that branch. So when they get to your account, they will see two branches. One for the main branch, the second one for that development one, the imperfect one. So whatever is on the main branch has been perfected. Whatever is on that development branch means is yet to be perfect. And nobody, in fact, people know that's a norm in the community. Once they see the development branch, you don't expect codes in the development branch to be perfect. You are still writing it, testing it, and adjusting it. Once it is now done, you bring it back to the main branch. We see how to do that in the next class. But for now, please, as you write codes, commit, push, whether it's working perfectly or not working perfectly, push. Please keep pushing to your GitHub repository. Then when you look at branching now, you can now use branching to still make it much better. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. Then my other question is, when we open a particular file on Python, let's say I open a file now, normally we have different codes. I might have money.py, assignment.py, tutorial.py, like that.
Yes.
If I want to commit, I'll have to commit each of them, right?
Oh no, you can add them together as one. What you can do is this. Let's say we have 3 files. So let's get 2 more files. Let's say about.py and contact.py. So I want to add all of these files and commit them together as one. So you go to your terminal, you run this command. Sorry, not this. Git bash is better. Let's clear this. Oops. So you run git bash, git add about.py, then git add contact.py. But instead of adding them one after the other, you can just say git add full stop. This will add all the yet to be committed files. It will add this and it will add this. Git add. Look at something. I'll first say git status. This is the status of my application. These 2 files are yet to be added, right? So let's say git add full stop. This will add the 2 of them. All the uncommitted files. If there are 20, if there are 100, it will add all of them together at once.
Wow.
So when you say git status now, you can see they've been added. Next is to now commit. You can now say git commit -m, the name of your commit message. I can just say all files added. So I've committed it. I can now push. If I want it to be online, git push origin main. So to push it online now. So push. Let's go to the one online. This is the last commit. If I refresh now, you will see you can see only one file here. But as soon as you refresh, you will see the 3 files. So all of them are here. And this.
Okay. All right.
So sir, this is the procedure you want us to follow to commit all our assignments, because we don't need to commit them one after the other.
Oh, no. For each project. No. For each project, you create a repository. Let's say I'm working on calculator. You create a repository for it. A folder, calculator. So I think calculator.
So actually, all our jobs are in one folder. So does it mean we need to separate them in different folders?
Yes, I would like you to. The reason is, in case you want to add more features to it later, you may choose to. It will be easy to manage like that. It will be, and also you can just send the link to a particular repository to someone. Not that you put all your repositories together. Repositories are meant for each particular project, like a repository for one project. In fact, even when we are building an application, front end will be a repository, back end will be a repository. In case someone is just interested in the front end alone, the person will go there. If I'm interested in the back end alone, for instance, I'm currently working on a project and I've not even opened the front end. Like, there's nothing that concerns with the front end. So all I need to do is to go to the back end repository and work on it without touching the front end repository. But if both of them are together, I'll need to bring the 2 of them to my device and at least check them even when I don't need the front end. So each project should be a repository on its own. Do you understand it?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, in absence of questions, thank you so much. I'll send the recordings to you. Good night. Thanks for coming.
Thank